Hello and welcome to Can Do Conversations. I am Cheryl Williams, the Can Do Mom.
I'm CJ Williams, the Can Do Dad. Thank you for being here.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year to you.
This is our first episode of 2024. And
is.
if you've been watching the previous year, you see things have changed a little.
Yes, had to change it up a little bit.
Just a smidgen. And
Yes.
so we have decided this year to welcome you into our
Yes.
home. That's basically what we're doing.
Yes. And welcome to the conversation.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we'll give you a little insight into what we're thinking, where we're at, and what we're doing. That's kind of what we've taken.
And the things we wanted to get away from.
Yeah, we've taken the holiday season, if you will, to look inward and do a lot of self-reflection.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and so we are going to make Can Do Conversations more of a conversation. But it's going to be conversations about what we talk about all the time anyways. I mean, if you are a fly on the wall, if you are someone we invited over to our house and you were sitting at the table with us.
Or you were sitting at the window.
Or listening in.
Peeping Tom.
Or, please don't. Or you were, sitting in our living room on the couch and we were just conversing. We sit and talk all the time. And so we're just going to basically make these conversations more conversational about things that we talk about.
That we talk about anyway.
On a daily basis. Because we think there are experiences and there's things in our life that mirror a lot of other people's lives. If it's a conversation that we want to have, we're probably, something you might want to listen to as well or talk about or, join the conversation as well. So,
especially when you get to a new year.
Yeah.
Did you make any changes? Did you prep up to the new year?
Well, the question is, did you?
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
See, that's what we're going to start doing. We're going to start
about us.
Putting the mirror up to ourselves, and we're going to be talking about us more. And so that in the conversations that we're having about us or me or him or our family or our kids, then you can put the mirror up to yourself and see that as well, right? Because we are a reflection of what we do. And so we want to have that conversation so that way it opens it up for you to be able to have
your
the conversation. Or things that make you go, or I hadn't thought of that before. Wow, okay.
Yes.
I like how they're doing that, or I want to do something different, or we do it this way. There's no right or wrong. There's just results, and everyone has a different path and a different way of going about it. And so we're inviting you into our home.
Our conversation.
Right?
Yes.
And to be a part of the conversation. So gone are the sets. And
that we were addicted to, that it took a long time.
I wouldn't say we were addicted to. Here's a little, we're going to rewind.
Okay.
Back
we are
up.
robots to being so long in the event industry that to us, things had to look a certain way.
That's true. I 100% agree with that.
For our eyes.
For our
not
aesthetic.
For your eyes. For our eyes of what everything should look like.
Just like right now,
it's going to be getting hard to be getting used to.
It bothers me a little how the back looks, right? Because aesthetically, it's not what I would usually go with of a pristine, set ready, everything is like, look, for instance, like for my eye and for my mind, we need to be
over there
in the center of the beams. However,
there's a wall there.
For the shot, it doesn't work, right? So we cannot be over, we need to be over more under the center, right? Under the center of the window, under the center of the beam, something like that, right?
Well,
however, we were like, fuck it, we're just gonna do it anyways, right? Because
well, how about the brown effect of our leather couches downstairs?
We had a great idea.
Yes, let's do downstairs because it's more of a conversation. So you're going to be on one side of the couch, I'll be on the other side, and they are dark brown couches, and yet the whole house is open.
It is very open. As you can see, it's open. Yes.
And it's that way downstairs, but it goes all the way back. So
when we did that shot, because we
did that, and then that's all you saw
was brown.
You ignored us. You saw the brown, but then you saw every little nuance of just the whole kitchen.
Well, it went living room to the dining room to the kitchen.
It just kept
and it was
going.
just going, right? And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So
And it's not like we could blur the background or anything else like that.
We did. Where we went 4 different locations in the house.
Yes.
And we settled on this. So
And this is what we got.
this is where we're at. And so we're inviting you along for the journey. We are going to be talking more about life. We are going to be talking more about the funny things, the not so funny things, the serious things, the things that we just need a tissue box and we all need to have a good cry, right? Because sometimes there are those days. However, what we do is we get it all out. We wipe the tears, we cry the cries, we scream the scream. We don't punch walls. We've done that before, and that didn't turn out well.
So long time
ago. So you got to get it out, right? But then you got to look back and say, okay, now what, right? I can't wallow in my shit. I can't sit over here and be like, look, I don't like how this looks, so we're gonna go back to how it was. And it's like, no, we changed it for a reason. So we're just gonna deal with it as is and move forward, right?
Yes, just like being more casual.
Yeah, that's
instead
the other thing.
of the button-up bullshit that we wanted to get away from that anyway. But the different look, we didn't like what that would look like.
Yeah.
So it just goes on, and it's this little hamster on the wheel.
So what this is going to be in 2024 is you are going to come along for the ride. You're going to be a part of the conversation, a part of the journey, a part of the evolution, and we're going to see where it goes and where it flows. We are going to be go and flow. I've been working on 3rd grade rhyming. That's a conversation for another day. We will be talking about that one soon. But
yes, a little homeschooler teacher here.
We just keep adding more to the plate, just stack it up. Why not? It's a new year, just got to keep adding new things to it.
Yes.
And so
until somebody else will do that for you.
Maybe not.
Okay.
We'll see. It depends, right? It has to be the right time for that.
Yes, time in person.
And so basically how this is going to go going forward is we're going to be a little self-absorbed. And that's been a challenge for us too. I'm like, who wants to listen to our conversations?
Oh, yes.
Who
or
wants
the conversation
to hear about
we had
this
with
stuff?
each other beforehand.
But you know what?
But that's the way it has to be.
I like listening to other people's conversations. I like hearing how other couples handle things or how other families do things or how different perspectives on how someone else is thinking about something or how this is happening or how that is happening. So you know what? Why not? We are just going to peel back the onion layers. You are going to get to know us on multiple levels. You are going to get to know our home. Who knows? There might even be cameos sometimes from the kids. They might pop in periodically. So we're just going to, this year we have decided to be less regimented, less stuck up, less professional,
like what we're used to.
Because that is our background, right? Events are what we have done for so long that our life has become an event.
Around it.
And so we've had to have everything produced to a certain extent. Like if it didn't look good on camera, we aren't doing it. I'll take the picture 1,000 different times to get the right one. Do you know how much time that takes? Do you know how much waste that is? It's like, no, we're going to shoot it and we're going to go.
Time. So just like right now, we're shooting it.
Or even before you saw us shooting this, we were having a long, drawn-out conversation. Okay, so what are we talking about again? What are we going to be doing?
We stopped
How
the
is this
camera.
going to work? Like, wait, pause, time out, hold on. Wait.
Took a long break.
Whoa, right? Because we're so used to not being scripted, but having talking points and knowing, okay, we're going to go in and we're going to talk about these things, and we're going to cover this information, and then we're going to move on.
Just go with the flow.
Right?
Yes.
And so what we're going to be doing now is, yes, of course, we're going to have some ideas, but I think also for us, what we should be doing is when an idea strikes, we're going to need to get that written down, because then we can start talking about that more. So that's something that we're going to have to do is so that we can be things that come up throughout the week. We can turn them into stories. We can turn them into posts. We can turn them into, but then the longer form, can do conversations as well. We're going to start doing that more instead of everything being perfect or everything being aesthetically pleasing or the lights or the camera or the background or the music or the this or the that or even the clothes, changing out of not wearing dresses and button downs and collars and skirts and heels.
They are gone.
They're gone. They're still in the closet somewhere, but they're not going to be. They're not going to be coming out anytime soon.
No.
I do not have heels on right now, and let me tell you, it feels good. Okay, so we will just.
I don't either.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Good to know. I can confirm that is true. That is a true statement. And so we're just going to be having more fun. We are going to be on this journey.
Well, not more fun, because
No, I
we were
think
having fun.
Nah.
We were having fun having conversations with ourselves. When we were talking, we still had fun.
I think it was fun, but this is going to be a new layer of fun because we're diving into the deep end of things that we haven't done before for the camera, right? And so to be all of ourselves, and I think that we could talk about raw, real,
and
honest conversations. That's what we're going to be getting more into, because surface level conversations get you surface level results. We're going to start digging in. We're going to start going deeper. We're going to start having those conversations about ourselves, right? I mean, we've been married. This is going to be coming up. We're in 2024, 14 years going on. We've been together for almost 18 years. We have 3 children. We've had numerous businesses. We have traveled across the globe, basically, you know. We've lived here, there, and everywhere. We have a lot of different perspectives and a lot of conversations, a lot of things. People are like, you've done this, you've done that. What have you learned?
Right.
How have you done this? How have you juggled
But
that?
how did we do that?
Right.
Is by making decisions quickly. Because that's what, that main point right there, what holds a lot of people back to sticking with their picket fence and what they're used to. They, you know, we just wanted to get away from all of that.
And now we've done some self-reflection, and we've noticed, though, you know what? Just moving quickly is not the answer either, because what we have seen ourselves do, and we've had, I would say from the middle of summer last year up until really right about a few days ago, maybe a few weeks ago now, we've wanted to do what we've always done, which is, okay, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
We're ready for something else.
It's time for something else. Like, we've done what we can do here. It's time to move. It's time to go. It's time to get into something else. It's time to do something.
But
and
when we realized if we didn't put the brakes on it, we would do it again at our next place.
And so what we mean by this is, like, taking action is awesome, right? Being able to be quick at the action. But if your action becomes a reactive, hey, I don't want to have my feet to the fire, or hey, I don't really want to feel all of this completely, or hey, you know, we're not really, we're ready to go. Why ready to go? Why ready to jump? Why ready to, are we really ready to do that?
Because we do talk so much, and we do set our plans ahead of time, even though we make pivots in those plans, it makes us more ready for the next thing. But right now, we're going to stick our feet to the fire and get our asses situated first.
And get the results that we're looking for in the different areas that we're going after before we make the jump, before we make the leap.
Instead of saying, okay, we're going to do all that stuff after the fact.
We'll figure it out when we get there, right?
Right.
And that has been our way of doing things. Let's just go and we'll figure it out. Let's just go and we'll figure it out. And yet, you know, there's patterns.
But it's hurt us so much.
It has. And so when we start looking at our own patterns in this, going quickly, taking action, that's what we know.
It's
action,
fine for certain things.
Do.
It's fine for certain things, but not everything.
And so sometimes you have to pull in the reins. And that's what we started doing. We've got to pull in the reins here and look, okay, what are we repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? And it's like, yes, we are. And so we need to slow this train down just a little bit.
No. We have to put a stop on it.
Well, not a complete stop, though, because we still know where we're going or what we're doing and how we're going to get there. We're just taking a little bit slower of a path, a more methodical approach to this this time.
Basically, be set up before you already leave.
Right.
That's the ticket right
or
there.
Or have a stepping stone as to what we're actually going to do or what the plan is or where we're going.
Leap, instead of from here to a giant leap. Already having really everything in action, already working for us before we take the leap.
Right. And so, and that doesn't mean, and I can hear a lot of people like, well, yeah, that's not, so I'll never do anything, right? And that's where that balance is. It's like, you don't need everything figured out before you take the leap, but you need to have a few things figured out before you do jump, right?
Yes.
Because if not, you're jumping here and you're jumping from the exact same thing you're jumping away from, you're jumping into the exact same thing that you just jumped from. And so you want your jumps to be elevational jumps,
Yes.
not just lateral jumps. And I feel like we've discussed, like we sit down for hours and we have conversations, right?
Yes.
And we talk about these things. We talk about, okay, what's gone well? What could be better or more improved? What is the pattern? How is it serving us? Where are we at? How is it helping the kids? Like, we have these conversations with ourselves all the time. And the conversations that we've been having lately is, what have the results been? And if we don't want the same result, we need to do something a little bit differently
or a lot
this
different.
next time, or we need to shift, right? And change up what we're doing. And so going into 2024, this is a great conversation to have. It's like, look backwards so that you can see what you've done. Don't stay back there, right? We need to move forward. But we can, hindsight's 2020. You can take a good look and say, okay, that's where I've been, that's what I've done, that's what I've gotten. Okay, now moving forward, here's how we're going to change these things. And so for us in 2024, one of the things that we are changing is we're not striving for perfection.
No.
Meaning everything doesn't have to be perfect before we execute, right? And so the same thing with this video. I mean, to me, it's not perfectly aesthetic, but guess what? Is it getting a message out? Is it having that conversation? Is it showing more of us? Is it being more open and honest and real? Yes. So then it's serving the purpose that we want it to serve. Therefore, even if it doesn't look pretty or catchy to my eye, right? What I want it to be,
it'll be okay for somebody else.
It's good because we are opening up our home. We are pulling back the curtain. We are saying, come on in. Let's have these conversations. And so that is where we're at. It's like in 2024, these are the things that we're doing differently. We aren't making sure everything's produced because that is a hindrance on ourselves. One, it takes a heck of a lot more time.
And I was going to say, it takes so much time first, even before you even get started.
Right. And so the amount of time that we're working on the perfection of things, we could have done so many more things in that same amount of time. And so
even the color of mugs.
Yeah. It's down to everything for us, right? Like the color of this table and how do we coordinate here and how does the lighting look?
How do we stick to our colors?
Right. All of these things, right? Because that is what we have known. And so
That's
going forward for us, the challenges that we've had is, we always strive for perfection, and yet we cannot wait around for that or pretend like everything is always perfect or everything is, because nothing's perfect, right? There's always flaws and there's always challenges, there's always struggles. It's how we overcome those. And so going forward in this year, we are putting 2024, we're not looking at the full year. We are breaking it down into every quarter, right? Because it's like, okay, over the next 90 days, what are we going to be doing? What are we accomplishing? We have 12 weeks, 13 weeks,
and what are we doing differently?
How are we
than we used to do in the past?
Right. How are we executing on the things that we need to do for the family? How are we executing on the things that we're doing for our relationships? How are we executing on the things that we're doing for our body or for our mind, or what are we doing differently?
And then that started with automatically by creating what we're going to do and the changes we're going to make sure we're going to spend more time with the family.
Right.
No earpiece, no phone. When the kids are home, because give your undivided attention to them at that time.
Well, and as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, it never stops, right? And
You're always going.
We had to look at that too. It's like we have to put some sort of parameters on this, because if not, we could wake up in the morning and get to work, right? And work all day up until it's time for bed at night. And that's not good for anyone, right?
No.
And it's not, and at the end of the day, like the amount of time that we've put into things, we have not gotten the result that we're looking for in putting in that much time. So I would rather be more specific and more strategic with where we're putting our time and condense all that down. Like, look, these are the things we need to get done during this amount of time because the amount of time that we have, right?
And that time, when it comes, it goes.
It's done, right? Because we have to, the days and the weeks and the months and the years, they're flying by, right? Our kids are 12, 10, and 8. Like, we're not getting this time back.
No.
And so even though we're in the same house, we're not always connected as much as we want to be connected. Nope. Why? Because we're like, okay, we got to work on this video, or we need to work on this, or we need to work on that. It's like, yes, but now we're attempting to streamline certain things and just get things done during the time they need to get done so that we can get them out, so that we can have the time that we want to have doing doing these other things because those are important to us as well.
And we will have more time because we will hand that off to other people to make sure they take care of that. They take care of this so you can have more time together.
I think
what we want to have for the kids.
Yeah, I think my top 2 reads of last year were Who Not How and the 12-week year. Those were the 2. I mean, we read a lot of books last year, right?
Yep.
But and what we do in our reading is we read the same book. So I'll read it, he'll read it, and then we can converse about it. And so those were the 2 books from last year, though. It's like, okay, it's not how are we going to get this done. It's who do we need to implement or who do we need to become to be able to get these things done, right? Who do we need to become to get the result that we want? But also, who do we need to bring on or who do we need to hire or who do we need to outsource to be able to take care of all these things?
And give more time for us.
Right. And then the same thing with, if we're looking at the year of 365 days, and this year we actually have 366 because it's a leap year. We had to explain that to the kids and how all that works. But, February's got an extra day this year. So we have this whole year. And if we look at it, it's like, well, we've got a year to get in things. And so you kind of schedule things out for the year. But if we condense time down and say, no, we have 90 days to get these things done, then we speed up. And so we're actually getting 4 years within the year because we're not putting things off.
And we're also not creating things or wanting our goals for a year. No, it's for 90 days at a time.
And I like how, we have it broken down into, okay, this is where we want to be. This is what we want to have accomplished. This is what we want to do. Mind, body, relationships, finances, all those. So we have all these categories, right? And so now we're able to work backwards over the course of 90 days. And so we have week 1. To get where we want to go, what do we need to do? What are the action steps? So now we have our, when we're doing our 5 actions for the day, we know, okay, these are the actions that we need to do today because this is what we need to get done this week to be able to get done this month for the end of the 90 days. And so that was actually more manageable when we were sitting down putting together what we're doing.
That was my favorite part.
Right.
Was not the 90 days, it was the 4 weeks. Because it seemed more tangible and you're living it.
Right.
You're already living your first week.
Yeah, we're in it.
And you're in it.
Right.
And then the next week.
And so really, each week is like a month.
It builds upon itself.
And so, if you look at, you got 12 months, right? And each month has 4 weeks, okay? But what we're doing now is like, no, our year now has 12 weeks, right?
Yes.
And so each week is almost like a month within that time frame when it's condensed down like this. And it's more tangible. And so, we still have our overarching huge, massive goals and plans.
Yes.
Those are still out there, right? But we're dealing with right now the more here and now. What are we working on over the next 90 days? Where are we going to be? What are the
action for ourselves?
Yes.
Because what actions are you going to do to take care of those challenges, to take care of those tasks for the 5 a day that you're doing? And not the crap that's put aside, the actual tasks that you need to get done for that week.
And that is the biggest challenge that I have in doing the 5 actions is there are so many more than 5 actions to do, right? And I'm always thinking, okay, these are the actions that are moving the needle in the direction we needed to go to get the end result that we're looking for. And so, when I've got like Amazon returns that need to be done or, tax preparation that has to be prepared for or, ordering books or, fixing meals or, like all the things that just come up. It's like that still has to be done, but that doesn't count towards moving the needle, right?
No.
I mean, these things need to be done over here. And so I have to figure out ways in which to get that done. And so what I've done that's been helpful for me is getting up in the morning and focusing in on me because then I know that's done, right? I'm not putting myself off. I'm starting with myself, right? And then moving into, helping the kids and working with that. Okay, then I've taken care of myself. Now I'm helping with the kids and doing what needs to be done around the house.
Getting them ready.
But then it's like, I've got to get these power lists. I've got to get my 5 top actions, right? Done right here, right now. And then when those are done, then I can do
the other things also.
Then I can do the phone calls that need to be made to take care of this and that. Or I can, do the emails that need to be done to get back to people. Or, I can do the Amazon return. After the holidays, there's lots of, things don't fit.
But what I have to do also,
it's all lots of stuff.
What I also have to do, like she loves the time that we have before bed. So I basically had to almost drag you to bed because that was the great time to getting some extra things done. But even though we're getting up early, so we want to get ourselves to bed early enough because we're getting up so early.
Right, and I do find time, like I can get up first thing in the morning early, have the whole day, but then once the house goes to bed, like
it's quiet.
It's done, the dishes are done, the kitchen's closed down, the kids are in bed, everything's put away, it's quiet. That's the time that I also like
it's
to
like
then
the Zen time.
I'm like, oh, this is
time.
I'm kind of in my
Without
element
our music
right now.
in the background.
Right, I like
Yes.
this. I'm feeling
Silence.
like kind of a flow state here that I can get things done, and so I'm working with that as well as like, okay, do I not need as much sleep? Do I take that and do that? Because I don't want to change around my whole morning either, because I like getting up and taking care of myself and getting my workouts in, and getting the mental, reading and writing and reflecting in the morning as well. And so I think it's not an either or, it's an and. And what we're doing is figuring out what's working for us, and what worked last year might not be working this year, right? Or how we need to change things, or there's different times and seasons and stuff. And so sometimes you do have to put a little bit more in to be able to get out what you're looking for. And so that's where we're at right now. It's kind of like, we're in that second week of the new year, trying on new hats, seeing how this,
and
works.
Little changes to make for the new year.
Little changes and tweaks. And so, where are you guys at? Because that's where we're at, right?
Yes.
We're focused in, we're moving forward strong. We're doing macros and taking care of our workouts and, all of those kinds of things. Like we've added, and at a certain point, it's like we've got to cut off the list, right? Because we just keep adding to the list, and it's almost like the to-do list on what we need to do for ourselves starts getting so long, it starts getting overwhelming as well, right?
Well,
and
that's
so
when you learn to take stuff off our list that aren't going to help us at the moment.
Right, and so that's another thing we've done is like, one of the things we're starting this year is the 30-30-30. So within 30 minutes of getting up, we're having 30 grams of protein and getting in 30 minutes of steady-state cardio. Well, okay, well, that threw a wrench in my gears, because we don't normally do cardio until later, and shoot, I don't normally eat until later, and so I'm like, holy crap. Okay, we got to get this in, and so now
we start. First thing is Soleil. 30 grams.
No, we're actually doing a little more than 30 grams, but it's at least that.
37.
Got to be precise over here.
37 grams, and grab the book. And get our 30 minutes in.
And so that's how we were able to dovetail that, because I'm like, I cannot be adding more things. I need to get my reading in. I need to get my goals written. I need to do my reflection.
So you put them on top of each other.
We're stacking a few of those, so that we're not making excuses. I'm not taking more time. I'm not getting up earlier than what I'm already getting up. I'm not adding more to the list. It's like, okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to do the Soleil. We're going to, chug some protein, and then we're going to read and walk, or I can reflect and walk, or I can. So I'm getting those things in, and so while we're adding in new things, we're figuring out ways to be able to juggle, so we're not just continuing to add to the endless laundry list of things to do. Because at a certain point, it's like all of these self-help things, these self-mastery things, almost become overwhelming to the extent, and it's like, well, I got to do all of this before I can do this, right?
No, that's when you start subtracting.
Right. It's like you got to take some of these things away, right?
Just take it, pull the tape off.
Yeah.
And chug it. Throw the tape off and chug it, so you can get more focused on the things that really matter.
Right.
Instead of just things to be there just because, but it's not getting you closer to where you want to be.
And sometimes, adding to those things, it's like it's actually getting me further away from what I'm wanting, because I'm wanting simple. I'm wanting to get in and get out what I need to get done, so I can move on to the next thing. So at the end of the day, we can enjoy, the time, or
life.
We can really
life.
And that's something that
we're
doing this year is we're gonna start enjoying life more. Time goes by so fast.
Yeah, so every time for each other.
Right, and it's like things happen all the time, and if we're not being specific and strategic in that, the days come and go. Quickly. And so it's like we have to make sure that we know
we have time for ourselves.
We have time for ourselves, we have time for our relationship, we have time for our kids, we have time for, business, we have time for all of these things. And if you look at it, it can look like an insurmountable mountain of overwhelm.
Yes, but when you look at a calendar,
it's not.
It's simplified for you because you already have it written down. Like for us, it's simplified. We smile when we think about a calendar. I mean, look at us. We say calendar, we're like,
and You know, we have digital calendars. We've got them color coded for different things,
Yes.
and we've got
Even
it
for
in
the
there.
kids.
Even the kids, you know, they have their count, and so it's like when you can just start incorporating these things. This is what we're doing. It's like we're starting to incorporate these things into our life, and it just is life, right? And so we're inviting you guys to come along for the journey of life. To have these candid conversations, to see like, hey, you know what? We don't have it all figured out.
No.
We're still trekking along,
We
though.
are on the journey.
Right? We're on the journey. We're improving. We're always looking at ways to be better today than yesterday or last year.
And streamline a little bit.
Right? And, you know, just present the raw, real, honest truth of what is.
Yes.
And we've got a lot of ideas for conversations. I'm sure a lot more will spark up.
They will.
Because it's time to pull the curtain back. It's time to dive in.
You did.
It's
you pulled the curtain back, literally.
It's time to get down to the nitty gritty.
And dirty.
To the dirty, to the struggles, to the real.
Challenges. Yes.
The real, honest, open conversations. And so that is where we're at this year. You know, we love hearing from you guys. Where are you at the beginning of 2024?
Yes, talk to us.
Where,
we really like hearing from you.
You know, what of this conversation, you know, was an aha moment? Are you going to take the conversation and continue to run with it? Because that's what we're here for. We want, you know, it's can do, right? And so our motto is we can do it and so can you. And so we want you guys to join in the conversation. We want you to start having these conversations amongst yourselves.
Yes, and we could even talk about people's challenges also. When you reach out to us, let us know. We could talk about it.
So we can have those, but we're going to be, you know, talking more about what's going on in our life, from our perspective, from our point of view, because we know that when we shine the light on ourselves, we can also, you know, help you guys shine the light on your relationships and your conversations and your life as well.
Yes.
So we appreciate you joining us here today.
Thank you for being here.
And we look forward to bringing you another conversation. And until then, remember, we can do it, and so can you. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.